Now your promotion is not only in your boss's hands. They think my promotion will land in my inbox because I've been here X number of years. And that is not how it works. So your quality of work, your timeliness, all of that matters. But these two are only table stakes. They're necessary for you to survive, but they are not sufficient to thrive.
Welcome to another episode of Workwise with Naukri. I'm your host Gurnoor Kaur Bahel, and today I'll be discussing with Nilima Chakra, an executive coach at Purpose Ladder, on how to crack the promotion code. In today's episode, of course, we'll be talking about how to get your promotion, how to get it faster, and what to do when you actually have favoritism and office politics involved. So let's get to it. Welcome, Nilima, to Workwise with Naukri. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Gurnoor. I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here.
We have a very, very exciting episode with you. I'm very excited to do this one specifically, and I know the listeners are really going to enjoy it because we're going to be talking about promotion. So, how is the promotion process actually in the corporate?
You see, there is no standard promotion process across the corporate sector. It varies from company to company. But in large corporates, let's talk about where processes are set up. So in large corporates, the beginner level promotions pretty much happen in a time-bound way. And it is very simple, in the sense that the criteria is very defined. Have you learned what you're supposed to deliver? Do you deliver on time? Do you have the eye for detail? But after the first couple of promotions, other nuances start to play out.
Okay.
And then it becomes complicated. So things like how do you collaborate? How do you get along with your team? How do you add value? How do you manage your visibility? How do you win your credibility? How do you manage up? There are a lot of angles to it. And also, now your promotion is not only in your boss's hands.
Is it so?
Yes.
Okay.
Your other stakeholders, other peers, they start to matter because their feedback gets asked. So their influence starts to have a role in your promotion.
So you really need to have a good rapport with everyone around.
Everyone around. Relationships are very important. How you add value to them is very important. And how they perceive the value that you add to them is very important.
Very interesting. Never thought that promotions would be not like to the point like that. It's actually such a holistic thing.
It is because especially now when it's a matrix organization and you need to deliver results even through people that do not report to you.
Right.
And you need to add value to so many layers of the organization.
Yeah.
And when you're at that cusp, it is a role which is into senior management now.
Right.
Then it is, you may have to give a presentation. You may have to go through a panel interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You may need references from stakeholders. And you need to be mindful of so many things. But I would also add that, if you're an engaged employee, if you are really, if you like your job, and you're having fun while doing it,
right,
a lot of it happens automatically,
right,
but there are ways to be mindful about it.
So while there are so many different factors that are there, the one thing that I believe everybody would like to know is, do you need to ask for that promotion? Or should you allow your work to speak for themselves?
Gurnoor, the very fact that you're asking me this question tells that you need to ask for it. I know we grow up being told, just focus on your work, do hard work, do such good work that you can't be ignored.
Right.
But that only works in school. You put your head down, you study, you write your exam, you do well. It doesn't work in corporate sector at all. Just think about it, when you don't ask, you leave scope for that assumption that you are okay with where you are.
Right.
whatever you have right now is enough for you. And in a country like ours, there are always more people than there are roles.
Right, right.
So anybody who raises their hand, anybody who asks for it, they give that indication that they are ready to amp up the level at which they are operating.
Right.
So it is very important to ask.
And what would you say is the right time to ask for this promotion?
There is no right time.
But doesn't timing matter somewhere?
I think it is your attitude.
Yeah.
And it is a continuous conversation. So I would say that right at the time when you set up your goals for the year, talk about the role that you want to work towards. And ask, what do you need to do to get into that kind of a role? Build it into your goals. Ask, what is it that you need to do to, get there? What is it that you need to build up? What is it that you need to do more of?
Very interesting. Would you say these are also some strategies while you're asking for a promotion?
See, this is a very common thing that I see as I coach people. They come and say, hey, I have my appraisal discussion coming up in 3 weeks' time. How do I talk about it so that I get the promotion?
Right.
But you can't spring that thought on your boss, one fine morning. You build up to it and you work towards it consistently, and you also make them invested in your growth. Right? Because it is also, like we were talking just now, it is not a one-person thing in most of the times.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So you need to create that ecosystem for yourself to move on, to move forward. Right. And it takes some planning. So you invest and you get your system to invest with you on your agenda. First of all, define, know what you want to do. Right. And then build it right, early on in your conversations. Ask what they're looking for the role that you want. Right? And then plan your journey. Co-create that journey with your bosses and your stakeholders. Ask them how they will be able to help, because you might need coaching, you might need mentoring, you might need training, you might need experiential learning. Right. So how will they collaborate with you in getting you to where you want to be?
Right.
Right? Seek frequent feedback. Document your achievements. As I coach people, so many professionals, they would say, I work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and I do things which are not even in my goals, but nobody knows them. Right? So don't be the best kept secret in your workplace. Talk about how you're mentoring, how you're coaching, how you're helping people solve problems.
Right.
Right? Let it be out, and then also think about what could be a long-term solution for it.
Right.
That is another way of showing leadership.
Right.
So be a leader and then talk about the impact that you're making. And if you can't talk about the impact that you are making, because that is really the business case for your promotion.
Yes.
If you can't cite it, you don't stand a chance. Nobody else is going to make that effort.
Absolutely.
You need to make that business case for your promotion to help your boss. Go and pitch it.
I love that. Absolutely. What would you say is one more or common mistakes that people make when they are trying to get their promotion?
A very big mistake people make is assuming that it is their boss's job to give it to them.
Oh, yes.
I'm doing my work, I'm delivering results. It is his or her job to give this to me. They think my promotion will land in my inbox because I've done well in my current job, because I've been here X number of years. And that is not how it works.
You have to ask for it.
You have to ask for it, and just delivering on your KPIs is also not enough.
Yes.
How are you building your relationships? How are you building your credibility?
Right.
You think you're ready. Does your ecosystem think that you're ready? How are you bringing that about? How are you adding value?
I'm going to ask you to like emphasize a little bit on the value aspect. So when you say how are you adding value, what do you really mean for that professional?
So, one is, yes, I met all my goals,
Right.
right? Now, this adding value piece is, if you don't know what is the value you're adding, on what basis will you even ask your boss for the promotion?
Right.
So, when you know that you're adding value and you can articulate it, it means that you know the bigger picture, right? It means that you know the whole value chain. You know where you fit in.
Right.
You know the role that you are playing in your team or your organization meeting its goals.
Right.
And then you're also aware of where you can stretch and do a little bit extra. But if you're only focused on, this is what my goal sheet says, then you're ticking the boxes
Yeah.
and probably getting frustrated at the end of the year.
Yes, probably yes, because it's not just about your job, right? It's so much more than that. I remember when I was an employed professional, they used to, or when I became an entrepreneur and I was asked to look into my team, they said competence was only 1/4. And all the other things that you're mentioning came in the other quarters. So important to go beyond your KPIs.
Right.
So going forward, and I'd like to ask you, how can we get that promotion faster? I think the listeners really want to hear this. Really want to hear this one, yes.
I know, faster. See, first of all, position yourself as somebody who gets things done and advocate for yourself, right? So, in my coaching journey, I take people through the 5 C's of career success. Okay, and these are 5 C's that if you put your arms around all of them, you're highly likely to get that promotion faster.
Right.
Yeah. So we talk about clarity. Do you know what success in your role looks like? How is it measured? What do you want to do? What you call promotion, what you call growth, because obviously you don't just want a new designation.
Yes.
Right? Promotion means leveling up. What is that level up that you're looking for? What will you do? Right? What is it that you want to do? You need clarity on that. You need control over what you have to deliver, what you're required to deliver.
Right.
So your quality of work, your timeliness, all of that matters. But these 2 are only table stakes.
Okay.
They are necessary for you to move on. They're necessary for you to survive. But they are not sufficient to thrive.
Okay, I'm listening. Yes.
And that's where you need to take charge of your career. So you need to build your visibility. You need to build your credibility. So that's the 3rd C, taking charge of your career. And connections. There's a special C for connections because you need an advisory board for yourself.
Yes.
You need a supportive network of peers, sponsors, mentors, somebody to brainstorm ideas with. And finally, you need courage.
I think that's a very understated C, yes.
Yes, but it is, it is like, it cuts across everything in your life.
Yes.
Because I can bet not everybody has everything. So you need courage to put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And, do what you need to do.
I love this. I love this. So we've got clarity, we've got control, we've got charge, we've got connections, and we've got courage. I love this. Absolutely. And that's how we get our promotion faster. But, okay, this one I think a lot of people also want to know, and I really want you to answer this one with as much depth as possible. And that is in a situation where there is favoritism and there is politics and the work environment isn't that feasible. So when a professional is in that situation, how can they combat these challenges and still get their promotion?
Gurnur, it is very easy to get demotivated in an environment where you're feeling, there's too much favoritism, there's too much politics. And I have people come and tell me, I don't let that affect my work.
But is it bad?
It does. It affects how you show up. It affects how you engage. So the very first thing is the mindset. I want to invite professionals to think about what are they really calling politics, right? Because every organization has those unspoken, unwritten ways of working. How communication happens, how decisions are taken. It may be formal, it may be informal, it may be in meeting rooms, it may be one-on-one. You may think it is unfair, but it is the culture and you can't fight it.
That's true.
So learn enough to be able to operate effectively. Gauge it and learn enough to be able to operate effectively.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And be curious about, what am I calling politics? Double click on that. What is it? Are you calling smart or savvy working as politics? The ability to read the room, the ability to modify your approach in the last minute. Really understanding what your stakeholders are expecting out of a discussion or a project and creating a win-win situation. These are things to learn, not to shy away from.
Right.
And not to push away as this is office politics. I just want to do my work. I want to go home. That's not, that doesn't help.
I am so grateful that you have actually talked about it with this mindset for that, with this approach, in fact, because there are a lot of people who just look at it like, oh, if it's not suiting me, yes, then it's definitely office politics, or they favor someone else. But why not look at it from a different perspective and saying, are you fitting in? Are you making the effort to fit in?
And you actually use you've hit the nail on the head.
And I think that once you start thinking about it differently, promotions will come to you easily.
Yeah, because you're connecting better.
Connecting.
You are trusting, you are, relating, you're understanding.
Yes.
And you're making the equations work.
You're making it work. Absolutely. I think so far what we've understood is promotion is a very proactive.
Yes. But I want to add, I'll take a little half a minute, probably more on politics. Right. I'm not saying, when I talk about mindset, I'm not saying there's bad politics.
Right.
Be aware of that.
Huh. Nilima, I really like the perspective that you've given over here. One, of course, to have that judgment whether this is the culture of the company or this is genuinely bad politics. But many times, you've mentioned don't engage in it. But many times it happens with you, wherein somebody's taking your credibility or somebody's trying to put you down in order to, for whatever reason. What do you do then?
Well, first of all, I'll go back to the C, courage. Right? Have the courage to call it out. That is where you would also fall back on your mentors and your bosses to support you.
Right.
For them to know that how much work have you put in here. But you can't depend on them coming and saving you. They might be fair, they might be objective. The recourse that you have is only that you have the courage and you say, this is what I contributed to this.
Right.
Right. that you will have to muster that courage.
So courage is the answer.
Yes.
I think that's fair. And it takes courage to have courage, honestly. Yes.
It does, yes.
But what about the courage to wait for your promotion? What if your seniors tell you that you have to wait? What must you do in that situation?
So I would want to know, why am I being asked to wait? Now, in a scenario where you've been continuously working towards it, you would know. But if you're not there, even then ask. Why are you asking me to wait? What do I need to do in this waiting period? Right? So, was it a skill gap? Was it a leadership gap? Was it a perception gap? Or did you just not interview well? If you know what is the gap that you need to address, then you can plan your journey. You can work towards it.
That's fair. And how long do you think you should wait?
See, the long is, if it is a gap, what is the time that you need to address the gap?
Right.
Right? That is the period that you would wait. But sometimes, why you have to wait is nothing to do with you. How much will you wait then?
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
So there is no role. The company is not doing well. The industry is not doing well. The economy is not doing well.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yes.
There can be so many reasons for you having to wait. And then you would say, okay, let us reconvene, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months, depending on what is the reason, and recalibrate.
All right. So there are a lot of parameters as to how much time you should wait, right? And tell me one thing. And this is a real question that I think everybody wants to know.
Okay.
What if you don't get that promotion? How do you navigate through that?
And managing emotions is a big piece. I would say, first of all, give yourself the time to feel what you're feeling. Just give yourself time to process your emotions. And then again, go back to, what next? Consciously make a positive experience out of it. And when I say positive, I don't mean false positivity, but okay, what am I learning from here? What do I need to do?
I'm going to ask you one last question. If you could give a one-liner advice to anyone who's seeking a promotion today, what would it be?
I would go back to that taking charge piece. I would say, be proactive. It is your career, take charge of it.
I love that. Yes.
Because the world is not going to change it to suit you. So every failure is feedback, right? Learn from everything and be proactive, take charge of your career.
Love it. Take charge of your career. Thank you, Nilima, so much for this wonderful episode on cracking the promotion code with WorkWise and Naukri. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Very happy to be here.
Thank you for watching this episode of WorkWise with Naukri. If you like this episode, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next one.